Greetings fellow traders, this is Max and welcome to my Sunday market analysis where I'm gonna analyze the market and share with you my top trades for the upcoming week. As you can see, I have those 5 pairs selected with very nice trade ideas that I am really excited to share with you now. And if you want to see a brief recap of last week's pairs that didn't make it into this week's selection, stay tuned until the end of this video. I'm gonna start right here with EURUSD. So on the weekly chart, we have a breakout and we have a retest of this significant area, which has been support and resistance quite a good amount of times. So, however, the weekly chart is not really looking as if the price wants to continue higher immediately. And that's because this red candlestick here with this gigantic wick looks like that could be a wick fill in the coming week, and this might be just a neutral week. However, on the daily chart, we can see a clear breakout and a comeback into the zone, into the area here. It is almost around a round psychological level. It's not really clearly defined here where price reacts to the most. So it could be here the 0.936 round psychological level. As you can see with this opening candle here, it has even dipped a little into this area. So I believe this could be the most significant for this pair. However, I'm not gonna enter right away, so I want to wait for price to come back a little more, a little closer into the zone, maybe wick out some stop orders here and then retrace or return immediately so that then price might continue climbing to the upside. However, this is also a really significant area, so if it comes down here and it's showing me some weakness in its move down, then my first profit target is probably going to be this high here before I aim for higher price levels. So again, a break and retest trade and a long position here on EURUSD. I've set my alarm, so not right now, I'm just waiting for price to come back into the area. Next pair on my list is GBP CAD. So on the weekly chart, we see a really strong breakout. And that means that I am now waiting for a retracement into my desired or interested price area, and that could take a couple days, as it looks right here that this could be already a continuation to the upside, as this is on the daily chart has formed some kind of Morningstar formation. However, a Morningstar at the top like this, I have noticed that very often this is just like a false signal and then price is gonna return immediately. For example, we have a similar thing here. This looks like a big continuation as we have an engulfing candlestick and then a Morningstar formation. But what has happened is price just pushed higher a tiny bit and then it violently reversed. So I expect that this could happen here. Price might come back into the zone, trigger a lot of stop orders here, show an immediately sign of weakness, a strong reversal, and then I'm interested in opening my buy position here on GBP CAD. So it's time for patience, and generally we are still in an uptrend, so that is all good. This has been almost at a really recent high, so I should be a bit cautious here. But as of right now, if price comes back into the zone and is reacting as I want to see it reacting, then I'm interested in a long position. Next pair on my list is GBP CHF, and I generally do not like GBP CHF that much anymore because, or just in general, a lot of CHF pairs because they have really high swap fees. However, if it's a good lineup and the price is moving fast then into my desired direction, then those swap fees aren't that big of a deal. And right now, what we can see here is we had this significant resistance area with even a round psychological level, 1.08 level. And the price has broken out of it and now is coming back into this zone, potentially retesting it and then continuing higher. So on the weekly chart, as we can see here, it was a really big and engulfing green candlestick, and now we have the kind of weekly retracement here. What I'm expecting to see is it's pretty similar to EURUSD. I want to see price come back into the area, take out some of the stop orders to just sweep some of the liquidity that's sitting below. Then I want to see the price reversal to then give me a chance to open my long position here on GBP CHF. But the first profit target will probably be this zone here. So if price comes down far enough, then this could absolutely be a nice 1-to-4 risk reward ratio. Why not? But patience is key again. So I am waiting for price to have, for example, it could be some kind of dip like this. and then an immediate reversal. But the best would be if I see a tiny retest of this round psychological level again, so that I can have a better chance of opening my long position here and get the best risk reward ratio for price continuation to the upside. As you can see, the price is on the daily chart moving relatively clearly, I would say. It has a really nice structure, a lot of wicks sometimes, yes, but it's overall relatively clear defined in terms of resistance areas or support areas, because as you can see, this has been a support area a couple times, and then it broke this area, and now it has turned into some resistance. Same here. So this is a really good sign for me on GBP CHF. The moves are really clear, I would say. So I believe this could be a really nice trade. Next pair on my list is GBP USD. And GBP USD has been on my list last week, actually. And what I was looking for was a reversal back into the zone here to then form this inverse head and shoulders pattern and then enter a long position here. There have been significant news on Friday, which caused the price to spike up immediately. And I don't think that this trade is gone already, even though this entry would have been really nice, but this is not my strategy. I do not enter positions on a late Friday to hold them over the weekend because of those significant news candles, for example. Yeah, could have also just reversed and pushed further to the downside, and then I would open a position and take a loss on Friday, which is not something that you want on Friday. What my plan now is I want to wait for the price to come back down a bit. And I believe it could totally be this price level here, this price zone. It has been a small resistance area and now a small support area. So even here you can clearly see that this had some significance. So I want to wait for price to come back here and then show me my shifter structure to then open a long position. The reason why I believe this is likely to happen is because very often those strong pushes up to one side are not very often sustainable. So the price wants to come back a tiny bit, not really to where it jumped from, if you want to call it like that, right? But still really close to the candle's first point or the candle's origin. So if price is doing that, even on a lower time frame, structure-wise, it doesn't really look like it will do it. But if it does, then I'm still interested in entering my long position here on GBP USD. It could totally take a couple days. It's important to stay patient here. And then I'm interested in opening my long position. And the final pair on my list is USD CAD. And this is more like a trade update on the trade that I am currently in. So I have entered a long position here on USD CAD roughly a week ago, somewhere around this price area here. And what price has done so far is it continued to the upside very beautifully. And now, since there were big news on a Friday, we had this strong push to the downside, engulfing 2 days, almost the third day here. So is that something to worry? Well, it depends. It's important to just have, especially on a Friday, when there are such high impact news, it's important to let the market settle for a while to make new decisions. As we had here, we also had a really strong push, and then it even went down a little further, but eventually it continued to the upside. Of course, we had this significant area here, but we even have some small areas here that might provide some support for it. If I go on the 4-hour chart, you can see that this is a gigantic engulfing candlestick. And as I said before, those strong pushes are usually, from my experience, not really sustainable. So I believe and I hope that the price is going to return here, even on the lower time frame. I believe the 15-minute is here really interesting to look at. We see some possible cup and handle formation, which is a reversal pattern. So this is supposed to be the cup, this is supposed to be the handle, and if price breaks out, it's very likely to continue to the upside. But that doesn't mean that price will get as high as it was before. It could be that the price is just gonna get as high as that, maybe around the round psychological level, the 1.39 round psychological level. And if it does, depending on the price structure there, I think I will close this trade with a really big risk reward ratio. That's absolutely fine. And I believe I just shouldn't test my luck for too long here. Right now it has been a high impact news and a big move, and I believe this move will have a retracement at least to a certain price level, somewhere around here, a significant one, and then I still have a chance to close this trade with a nice risk reward ratio. Now I want to give you a quick recap of the pairs that were on my list last week and that are not on this week's list. So I'm going to start here with the Euro AUD pair. So the plan on Euro AUD was to enter at a retest of this neckline of the inverse head and shoulders pattern here. As you can see, it even had a retest, but I just didn't catch the chance to enter in this trade, and this would have been a really nice risk reward ratio. I just didn't take the trade. It could happen that on the daily chart the price might come back into the area, then give me some, then show some neutral price action here and then actually continue to the upside. I've put an alarm here, so I will definitely have an eye on it if it reaches this price level again, but if it doesn't, then that's totally fine. The trade is gone and I just missed it. However, really beautiful trade. The idea played out very well. The next pair that was on my list is Euro GBP. So in Euro GBP, I expected price to have kind of a further push to the downside and then a chance to open a long position. However, I also just missed this trade idea or this entry chance. This would have been the ideal entry because price might continue to the upside now. When I wanted to re-enter somewhere around this level, I didn't, because for me, price was way too far away already from my desired original entry, meaning that the risk reward ratio wouldn't have been really good. So far, it looks like it continued to the upside, but it's just a trade that I missed eventually, but the idea played out quite well so far. Another pair that was on my list is GBP JPY. The idea here was to wait for the price to come back into the area, then show me the bullish action and then enter a long position, forming a potential inverse shoulder here on this potential inverse head and shoulders. And as you can see, it actually did so. However, I had to make a decision and decided not to enter this trade, but so far price action looks like this could totally be a continuation to the upside. As we can see here, some neutral price action and the next candles might be green. However, this is a big engulfing candle, so it could also break through this level and then continue to the downside. And another pair on my list was GBP NZD, and this is kind of unfortunate that I couldn't enter this trade purely because of the fact that the price just didn't come as far into my desired price level zone that I wanted it to. As you can see here, it kind of did the attempt, but it never triggered my price alarm and hasn't swept any liquidity. It just continued straight to the upside, which is unfortunate. There might be a new chance at some point on the weekly chart, maybe in a couple of weeks, it will have a really neutral week here and show some bullish price action, so that then there's a new entry chance on entering GBP NZD in a long position. Maybe the coming monthly candlestick will show or will provide some retest here, and then there could be a new chance of entering. I've definitely set an alarm here. The direction was correct, but I just didn't have a chance to enter a long position. And that's already it for this week. I have analyzed all the other pairs as well, but I couldn't find any nice trade setups for this coming week. However, I have set alarms, and if any of those alarms is getting triggered, I will have a look at the respective pair again and then decide whether there is a new and good trade setup or trade idea, or if there isn't. If you want to get notified whenever that happens, and if you are interested in regular trade updates of my running trades and in notifications on whenever I open a position or close the position, then you can join my free Telegram channel. I will put the link to it into the video description. You will also find a link to my other socials there. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below and I will try to answer your questions. Thank you for watching. I wish you a successful trading week. Remember to manage your risk properly, and see you next Sunday.